All right, welcome Lex.
Hi, thank you. All right, thank you everyone for joining. We have a presentation for you this evening going over the pillars of health and some self-care. This presentation was taken from the Brain Injury Association of Durham, so this is not my work, but it is still great information that will hopefully help you in your journey through life and wellness. See here. So this is who originally did the presentation, but it is obviously going to be me presenting it tonight. So I am Lex, and I am a Mohawk student doing my postgrad in brain disorders management. And please let me know if I am too quiet or if I'm screaming at you, if I'm talking too fast, just let me know. Anything like that. There are question breaks throughout, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them at those points in time, or there is a chat box somewhere on here if you want to throw your questions in there as well. So if any of you are comfortable, would like to say hello, there is an icebreaker here. If you'd like to turn your mic on, say hello, give an idea of what your favorite snack is, please feel free to share. And if not, we can get started. All right. So this is part of a 4-week life skills session that was delivered, I think it was last year, yeah, 2020. So we will be doing the pillars of health and self-care, and a little bit of also some practical ways to be kind to yourself, since they also overlap. Okay. So just to start, oh, my mouse is going crazy here. Okay, so we'll be focusing on these 7 pillars of health. They are all equally important. They help give us the energy we need to complete tasks and improve our overall health and well-being. So the 7 we will be talking about are nutrition, water, sleeping, physical activity, social connection, breathing, and emotions. And creating healthy habits with each one of these pillars can help just build a strong foundation for ourselves and to create balance in our life. It is difficult to maintain an absolute balance between these 7 pillars all at once. So sometimes just focusing on one over another can still be beneficial. So why are these pillars so important to us? Well, without having these pillars in place, it is difficult for us to achieve our goals if we don't have the energy or the connections that we need. If our emotions are out of balance, it can be difficult to complete just everyday tasks, getting work done, and volunteering. So another way of looking at this is the pillars are your foundation. And once you have a strong foundation, you can start achieving your goals and completing the tasks that you are aiming for. And we will focus on each one individually. So this is your house, let's say, and in here is what you would put as what is your strong foundation, and nobody has to share if they don't feel comfortable or anything like that. But this is what's important to you, what you need balance in your life to achieve your goals and to have your strong house. Okay. So up until now, does anyone have any questions of what we'll be going over or anything in particular? And I can't see the chat box right now, so if there is anything.
There's nothing in the chat box. There's no questions yet. I'll let you know.
Awesome. If you can just keep an eye on that, then that would be great because I don't see it on here.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. All right. So the first pillar of health we're going to be focusing on is nutrition. So we all need food to survive, and a balanced diet of healthy food will give us the energy to work on our goals. So overall, here we go. A diet of healthy food can help support a good mood. It can help improve your cognitive performance, and including your memory, attention, your ability to problem solve and everything like that. And it is also good for your physical healing. So making sure you have the right nutrients to heal from whatever you may need to heal from, and just general life. So going over a balanced diet, now this information was taken from the food guides, and it is by all means just a general suggestion, and your diet may look different from what is presented here. So the food guide does suggest plenty of fruits and vegetables of all different colors, and lean protein, so chicken, fish, you see some nuts and seeds, eggs and fish, and whole grains as opposed to processed foods. So to give you a visualization of what your plate may look like, you see a big portion of fruits and vegetables on the left side there, and then about a quarter is reserved for your proteins, your dairy, and the last quarter would be for your greens. Some tips for a healthy diet include trying not to skip any meals. So what can happen is if you tend to skip a lot of meals, your body can go into a survival mode and cause some overeating in the future. Also, if you are tired or are skipping and kind of just lose track of time, that can be a source of overeating. And also just paying attention to your hunger and asking yourself if you are really hungry. I don't know about any of you, but during COVID, I think a lot of times, you know, we kind of are eating because we're bored. There's not too much to do. And if you are really tired of meal planning and cooking, you may just tend to go for some more snacks. So paying attention to your hunger will let you know when you need to eat. Another tip for a healthy diet includes slowing down at meals. It does take about 20 minutes or so for our brain to let us know that we are full. And within those 20 minutes, if you eat too quick, again, that can lead to some overeating, and then you might have a bit of a tummy ache by the end. There are some tips and tricks for grocery shopping and cooking as well. Sticking to the edges of grocery stores tends to be where the fruits and vegetables and your protein and dairy tend to be, while the processed foods are in the center of your aisles there. Going with a list, so only buying what you need to make your meals for that week, can prevent some impulse buying, which will also save you some money in the long run. And cooking at home more often than not is a great way to save money. It's healthier. You have your proper portions. You know exactly what's in it. And you can even end up with some leftovers for the next day. Our next pillar here is water. And now we all need water to keep us alive. We cannot skip out on water for very long until we start feeling the effects of it. So every cell, tissue, organ requires water to function properly. And when we lose water through just everyday life, breathing, getting rid of waste, sweating, we have to replace what we lose. So if we're doing a lot of exercise, we have to make sure that we are replenishing all of the water that we have lost through sweating. A general rule of thumb for water is 8-ounce glasses per day. This may change based on the weather or what type of exercise you're doing. But generally, if you drink about 8-ounce glasses of water a day, you're doing pretty well. Another way to see how much water you need is to just pay attention to your thirst. If you feel thirsty, go ahead and grab some water. To make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day, it's a good idea to drink water with your meals, including when you're going out, which will also prevent excess pops and alcohol, which have some sugar in them. When you're going out for the day, carrying a water bottle with you to fill on the go is a good reminder and an easy solution for when you're on the go. And even placing a pitcher of water on your counter or in your fridge can be a visual reminder to drink some water throughout the day. Okay, making your water your drink of choice over juice, pop, alcohol, whatever else, is a good way to make sure you have enough water, you're not dehydrated, and you can skip out on some extra sugar. Okay, so far, nutrition and water. Any questions from anyone? Can ask, you unmute yourself or in the chat. Otherwise, we can keep going to number 3.
There's no questions in the chat, but if anybody has any questions, just let us know.
Perfect. All right, so our next pillar of health here, number 3, is sleeping. And there's been a comic added for us. So classic Garfield, tossing and turning all night, can't get to sleep, and has decided it is time to get a more comfortable owner. So the importance of sleep is to keep us healthy. It improves our brain function and cognition. It helps us to maintain our social interactions and our emotional connections with others. It's difficult to go and socialize with others if you are quite sleep deprived. You probably just don't have the energy to go and be social. So it also lowers the risk of disease and poor health, and also gives us energy for activities. So in general, and again, this won't apply to all of you, but getting less than 7 hours per night will increase the risk of catching a cold and being able to fight off those colds. You are more likely to crash and rely on naps to get through your day if you are not having a restful sleep each night. So in general, about 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, but does vary. Some may feel rested with a few hours, but less than 7 can result in you may not being as efficient at completing complex tasks. All right, some tips for better sleep and habits that can be learned. That can take some time to get a proper routine going, but just sticking with a regular schedule, sleeping and waking up at the same time each day can help your body to learn its own cycle. And then you will feel when you are tired, and then you will be ready to wake up the next morning, and you'll get on a rhythm that your body will thrive on. So planning for about 7 to 9 hours is ideal, but not always achievable. Limiting your naps throughout the day can also help you to fall asleep later at night. And making your bedroom a relaxing place to be, keeping it clean and tidy, having your favorite scent, making sure you have a comfortable place to lay down. Limiting electronics or working in bed can also be helpful. The last thing you want is to associate your work with bedtime, because then it'll be quite difficult to fall asleep. A few more tips include avoiding caffeine before you go to bed, as well as alcohol. They can present some challenges with trying to fall asleep if you feel a little bit wired from caffeine. Going to bed hungry, and also eating large meals before bed. So just making yourself a regular bedtime routine, whatever that may be, just to help your body kind of wind down for the day. This can be having a bath before bed, simply just washing your face. Maybe you have a favorite book or some music you like to listen to. Some people find breathing, like meditation breathing, and also just reflecting on their day can be a helpful way to wind down and get your body ready for rest. A short walk or some physical activity throughout the day can also help tire us out and make it easier for us to fall asleep. So the bottom line is to make sleep a priority, and this little dog here has definitely got his priorities in check. Okay, we have another question break here, but if not, I can continue.
The only question was for tips for falling asleep, which I think you covered, but if anybody wants some more tips, maybe just let us know.
Definitely. Can always offer some more tips. All right, so our fourth one is physical activity. So everyone, no matter your age, level of ability, every single person benefits from being physically active in any capacity that you have. The benefits of physical activity are helping to control our weight and preventing the risk of health conditions and diseases. And we know many that are associated with poor diet, weight control, those kinds of things. So just about 20 minutes a day or so can help lower the risk of these conditions. And it also will help us to improve our mood. There are chemicals that are released that make us feel happy. You'll feel less anxious, and you'll also feel a boost of self-confidence. And you will also have the energy you need to complete all of your daily tasks. You'll have the strength and endurance to reach your goals, whatever they may be. It will also help to deepen your sleep, which is important for recovery, especially after you are physically active. You'd like to recover those muscles so that you're not too sore the next day. And it can also be fun, just doing something that you enjoy on your own or with others. This can be anything that you like to do. So a general goal for physical activity is about 20 to 30 minutes every day, and just trying to be consistent. Any amount is better than none at all. So if you can only sneak in 10 minutes one day, then that's absolutely fine. It can also just include doing a couple extra chores or taking the stairs instead of the elevator. Anything that you are able to modify, even if it's only an extra minute or two, it is all beneficial. And that's it for the physical activity section. And we will move on to social connection. All right, so social supports are important for getting you through those tough times. Having that support and someone to talk to, whether you're stressed, you're going through an illness, or you've just had a bad day and you'd like to talk to someone, can all help get things off of our chest. And it also prevents isolation and loneliness. Having connections to others will help boost our lifelong mental health, and it will increase our self-esteem and just in general how we feel about ourselves. Some tips to build some social connections. I know this is difficult, especially during COVID, but just staying in touch with friends, family, support groups, such as the one that we're in right now. Just sending a phone call, having a short visit, sending an email, anything you can do to just stay in touch with the people that you care about. And being a good listener. So just generally try to listen as much as you talk so that it's equal conversation. Helping others when they need it. We all need help at some point and time in our lives. So just being there for those that you care about and lending a helping hand if you are able to do so. It's not always easy, and sometimes we do not have the capacity to take on others at the time. But in general, just being there for others and encouraging them, being happy for them, and encouraging them to reach their goals. Some places that can be a good spot to make social connections include volunteering, joining a group, just being online, just as we are right now, and taking a class, talking to others, working towards a common goal, or helping everyone just in general. So these strong social connections support our overall physical and mental health. So really, it's an investment for both yourself and others. Number 6, we have as breathing. And breathing is automatic. It keeps us alive. But the thing that we can control about our breathing is the type of breathing that we do. So if we take some shallow breaths, which is likely what we're all doing right now, that's our general state of breathing. And you can move into a more deeper state of breathing and really focusing in on your breath and how you're feeling in the moment. And this is done by inhaling for approximately 3 seconds and exhaling for the same amount of time. And just doing that even for 30 seconds up to as long as you want. If you are into meditation and focusing on your breath, this can really help us to just be present and feel grounded. It can also be a way to relieve stress and to just calm the mind and body. So deep breathing is able to improve our mood, just bringing us back to where we are, being able to just push everything else aside for that moment to relieve some stress. It's very common for those in pain, and it promotes relaxation. There are many meditation apps, guided and not guided. You can find them in apps Some of them you may have to pay for. Others you can just look up a video on YouTube to meditate for any time of day. They have them for sleep, a midday break, morning, you name it, you can find it.
All right, the chat box. Dana said yoga, which is also a great example of breathing and deep breathing, a great practice. And Marilyn wrote in tips for falling asleep, maybe visualization, meditation, audio nature sounds, or restful music. And she also said breathing.
Yeah, those are definitely great sleeping ideas as well. Meditating, bringing that breath down and calming. Yoga, that's a great way to get in to practice your breathing, because you really have to focus on breathing with your movement. So if you are looking, definitely check that out. And you can find tons of yoga videos online as well, or DVDs if you can still find them, if they're kicking around somewhere. I think I used to have some a few years ago, but with everything moving digital, you can definitely find some online.
And Dana also wrote podcasts.
Podcasts, that's a great idea. I'm sure you can find tons of topics, whatever you're interested in. There's probably thousands of podcasts out there. They are great for long car rides if you are ever in need of a break from the radio. Awesome. So the last one we'll be going over with is our emotions. So emotions can be positive or negative. We generally feel a mix of both at any given time. They can be greatly affected by any type of situation that we're in. But the more positive emotions that we feel are joy, interest, love, happiness, curiosity, and gratitude. And during stressful times in our life, we can feel more negative emotions, including sadness, loneliness, self-criticism, fear, rejection, and anger. So everyone will experience a mix of both positive and negative emotions. If your positive emotions outweigh your negative emotions, you will feel a boost in your mood. Whereas if you are experiencing more negative emotions than positive emotions, you will have a more poor mood. But it's important to just pay attention to your emotions, ask for help if you ever need it. No one should have to suffer alone. If you need someone to talk to, there is always someone around. You just have to let someone know. If we do have a boost in our mood, we are generally able to complete more of our tasks, and we'll have that energy to get through our day. And if you are experiencing a poor mood, you might tend to feel tired or have trouble finishing those tasks. So please just pay attention to how you're feeling. Ask for help if you ever need it. Some tips to help with positive emotions, and this is where kind of all of the 7 pillars come together. They all complement each other. It's difficult to have one without the other. Unfortunately, we cannot out-exercise a poor diet, and we cannot build and maintain social connections if we are extremely exhausted and sleep deprived. So maintaining some positive emotions include having a good night's sleep. We'll feel rested, more energetic to get through our day. Having regular physical activity. Eating a healthy, balanced diet. And keeping a regular schedule. So sleeping and waking up around the same time, scheduling meals around the same time, can all help to maintain some balance and can maintain those healthy habits to improve your mood management. Some other tips for positive emotions is focusing on the things you can control. A lot of times there are things that happen that are out of our control, but there are always things that we can control. And that can be as simple as picking a meal or choosing who you talk to. Having those connections, the weekly talks or activities that we enjoy doing gives us something to look forward to. Being present and being grateful, just focusing on the good, whether it was a good conversation that you had, even just the weather, just being thankful for whatever you have in your life can help us remember that not everything is bad and there will always be those good moments. Always do something that you enjoy, whether it's reading a book, listening to a favorite musician, having a bath, watching a show. These are all forms of self-care. And again, just asking for help if you need it, friends, family, healthcare workers, groups such as the one we're in right now. They are all sources of support when you need it. And we all need that at some point in our lives. So just a general review and takeaway from the pillars of health is no matter what you're doing, what you're working on, what your goals are, having balance and consistency within these pillars of health will help you to have the energy and the ability to take on those tasks. And when things do come up, you will be able to take them head on and have that resiliency and to just continue building those healthy habits, which can be done one at a time. Please don't feel like you have to tackle every single aspect of these pillars of health all at once. That can be very overwhelming. Making small changes in one area of your life can help you to make those changes in other areas of your life. So starting with something small and just building your way up can help you build that foundation to achieve your goals. And that is it for the pillars of health. If anyone has any other questions or comments, suggestions for any of the 7 pillars, anything that works for you or that you've heard of, please feel free to comment or just speak in the chat if you'd like.
So there was one more comment about emotions, just saying emotions seem to get even more complicated after a TBI, which yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a great way to practice as the tips that Lex gave us. It might be a little bit more tricky with a TBI, however, it is just as important to work on.
Absolutely. And it will all look different for each and every one of you. These are just general guidelines, tips, and tricks. But please do what works best for you and maintain that balance however you need to.
Great, thank you. I'm going to stop the recording now. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves for questions after that, please feel free.